Hello, YouTube. We'll try this one more time. Hello, YouTube. It's Birdo Prey 5.
YouTube.
And I put the volume on. Hello, Thomas. I guess you can hear me. Chef Cook Qapla. Good to see you. Guys, this is Sassy the Beagle. My baby girl. My baby girl, this is her snake toy. She doesn't get into bed all that often because, to be honest, she's a little heavy when she's pushing down on me and whatnot. So I've got protection here. I know you can't see it. It's kind of off camera, but I've got a heavy-duty foam pillow protecting the important areas of a guy, and extra pillows around the edges for her. I wanted to get her on camera for a while now, so today was the day. She seemed up to it. I seemed up to it. So I figured let's get her on screen. Let's see, Sassy, what are they saying about you? Sassy girl, Aunt Diana's on. Aunt Diana says she says, Sassy girl. I know, you can't hear her, but she's there. Look at the camera. No, my hands are clean. I just washed them. You don't have to clean them anymore. Oh, Sassy girl. But today, wind knocked out power at 4:30. Came on only 1 hour ago. Sorry about that. So he said the wind knocked you out of power at 4:30. Thomas only came on an hour ago. Well, I'm glad you got your power back. She's cute. Yes, she is. And there's cousin Jason, Sassy Dibs. Hello, Jason. I got your video, Jason. Very, very funny. Aunt Joanne wanted me to do the same with Sassy, but I said no. I don't think dogs' legs move like that. Luke, Qapla Luke. Hail, folks. Happy New Year. Or as we say back home, Bunani? Bunani. I'm not so good at the French. Lol, yes. Happy New Year, Chef Cook. Chief Cook, excuse me. Chief Cook. Chef Cook would kind of be redundant. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you all having a great New Year's Day. I did manage to watch all of Anti-Tracker's almost 4-hour long stream. Unfortunately, I was asleep when he went on last night, and asleep through. I did get up in the middle of the night, but it wasn't worth trying to come on, to be honest. So I just I watched it this morning, and I see you guys got to see me sing New York, New York, which I will apologize for. But obviously that was his decision. He had my blessing, but I don't know why. I guess, why do we all go to his channel when it seems like we all want punishment, right? I mean, he plays me singing, he plays Lore singing, and he plays Lore dancing half naked. And it's not only that he plays it, you guys pay him to play it. So do we all want punishment? It's very, very confusing, I gotta be honest. Um, but I really had a lot of fun last night on my stream. Oh, the story of the very first New Year. I didn't read all your comments as I was saying the story, but I read them this morning when I was cutting it out to make it its own video. I don't know. I had never. An error occurred. Please try again later. Playback ID. Did the stream die for you guys? Anybody still in chat? Did the stream die? It's back for me now. I refreshed the page. No? Okay, you're good? Okay, for me, the stream went black for a minute. Good. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'd never thought of it before. I just... much like the Big Apple story, and I'm breaking character here for a minute, but yeah, much like the Big Apple story, I just started talking and hoped that my mouth could stay ahead of my brain, or my brain could stay ahead of my mouth, just, by a few seconds, so that's all I needed. I know people say, oh, you should write a book or whatever, but if you do that too often, they're not going to be special, and they're just going to get less and less funny as time goes on. But I did have a lot of fun. And yeah, for anybody who was there, I can assure you that was that was not thought out. That was just... somebody asked, and I said, sure, I'll make up a story on the spot. Nothing went wrong there? Okay, well, I guess it was just my computer. That's fine. I can't believe you didn't laugh doing your story. I know I would. Yeah, a couple people mentioned that they were cracking up or would be cracking up. I don't know. I mean, I laughed at myself afterwards, sure. But no, while I'm doing it, I'm just in a state of a little suspended disbelief, I guess. I don't... I'm thinking too hard to even worry about laughing. So... Sassy girl, you want to say anything? You want to say anything? I don't kiss Sassy, but she can kiss me. Aw. Yeah, it's not... as much as I like dogs, the people who let them lick their face, it's not me. It's a little nasty for me. So, Sassy girl, let's see, how many fans do you have right now? You got 5 people. How old is she? She is 2 years and 2.5 years old. She was born May 1st. Oh, right, it was exactly 2.5 years. She was born, May 1st, 2016. 2015, 2016. 2 years and 8 months. Pretty close. It's an even number of months. 2 years, 8 months. Sassy's story is this. Growing up, we had a beagle, Princess. In fact, the story goes back. We had just moved to a new house. Not that we had just moved, but we had moved to a new house, and me and my sister were both kids. I guess I was like 5 or 6, and she was 4 or 3, since she's 2 years younger than me. And we always wanted a pet. We wanted a pet. And my dad went to an animal shelter to get a cat. So he went to one of the well-known animal shelters of the day, and they wouldn't give him a cat. They needed to verify his information. I mean, I guess they still do that these days, but in the early 80s, before cell phones and whatever, and Dad didn't remember a hell of a lot of phone numbers. The only phone number he didn't want to call us because it was a surprise. So the only number he could remember was his parents' house. So he called them, and his sister and his brother were still living there at the time. It was not like the house was always empty by any means, but nobody was home. Nobody picked up. And he didn't have anybody else to call to verify who he was or vouch for him. So the shelter literally wouldn't give him a cat. I mean, we would have made it a great home. The shelter wouldn't give him a cat. So he left and told Mom. So Mom went to a pet store to get a cat, but instead she saw this little puppy beagle with a hurt leg, and it had this sad beagle face. And next thing you know, we have a dog named Princess. And Princess was our first beagle. And the next day, was it the next day? Literally the very next day, a orange cat came to our front door and decided to let itself, come on in to the house. And came around, let us pet it, and we gave it some food. And we had a cat too. Had we waited one more day, we would have just had a cat was coming to us. But I think that they probably both needed to be there. So we had Princess and we had Morris, although we think Morris was probably a girl. By probably, I mean definitely. So really Morrisina, but Princess and Morris lived together for over 13 years. We moved once. They both moved with us. They were friendly. In fact, Princess, the dog, would let Morris, the cat, in the house. She would jump up on the front door just enough to push it open and let the cat come in or leave as the cat wanted, because in those days you let the cat leave the house whenever it wanted to. And so all through most of elementary school, junior high, high school, and I was either in college or I think I graduated college when they both ended up passing away. It was a sad time because I was out of the house. My sister was away at school. My parents were working or busy, so nobody was around all that much with them in their later years, but they kind of had each other for a while. And they passed. It was sad. And hold on, guys, I'm just going to change the camera for a second. I'm going to keep talking. So they both passed. It was sad, but we were all busy. We had our lives. And it was fine. We not going to say we got over it, but I personally was too busy. I felt very bad about their passing. How we even found the cat is another story. it's kind of disgusting. It's one of the most disgusting and horrible things I ever had to deal with. Actually, I'll just tell it now. It was a hot summer day, and our cat had been missing for a few weeks. Now, she would go outside, so it wasn't unusual that days would go by and we wouldn't see her. But it had been a long time, and we were getting concerned. And like I said, I wasn't living at the house at this time, but I would ask, have you guys seen Morris? No, I haven't seen Morris. It's been a week, it's been 2 weeks, I don't know. I think we were past the 2-week mark. And we knew she was getting older, but she seemed fine. And one of the neighbors said something like, oh, you know, your cat's in the garden. And the way she said it, it was kind of like, oh, God, good, she's back. We haven't seen her. We were afraid. And she's like, oh, no, she's dead. So I was the one I was going to take the body and put it in, hold on a sec. So I went to pick up the body, which was hard to get to because we had this little iron fence. It literally just fell apart, and it was full of maggots and orange fur blowing everywhere. The smell was god awful. It stunk like crazy. I ended up having to get a garbage can, and I was shoveling the remains. She'd already decomposed, more or less. So I'm guessing she had been there quite a while. I guess she just decided she wanted to, die outside where she had spent much of her time, and I don't blame her. I'm just sad it took us so long to find her. But so anyway, after that, fast forward, 10 years plus maybe. My sister had constantly wanting another dog, another beagle specifically. Anyway, she was living in Florida, and she ended up getting a beagle down there. Somebody who had one but couldn't take care of it or something, and she ended up with Charlie dog. And within a couple of years, I guess, she convinced my mother, who was living apart from my father at this point, to get her own dog, another beagle, because she had a friend or a coworker who had a beagle she couldn't take care of. So Mom ended up with Rebel. Anyway, when I got sick in 2009, both my sister and my mother came and started living at my house to, go to the hospital and take care of me and those types of things. And so their dogs ended up coming here too. So when I got home from the hospital in 2010, I came from a house that I was living in with just my dad at the time and no pets, to a house with my mom, my dad, my sister, and 2 dogs, Charlie and Rebel. So it was a very full house. And of course, Charlie and Rebel were here for a number of years. I loved them. They were great dogs. But Rebel, Rebel was quite younger. Rebel was several years younger than Charlie, and we just always assumed Charlie was the older dog. He would probably pass away first, but Rebel, we don't know exactly what happened. It could have been a thyroid issue. He had fallen off a bed a couple of days earlier. I really don't know what happened, but Rebel ended up getting very, very sick, and we spent thousands of dollars we didn't have trying our best to keep him alive. But ultimately, he just he decided to walk outside one day with his last bit of strength. He went down our steps and laid down in front of the tree in front of our house, and he died. He died right there in front of the tree on my birthday. And my birthday is November 13th, so trivia if it comes up again. So we lost Rebel kind of quick and surprising. And as soon as Rebel was gone, Charlie started getting worse, and Charlie passed by January, by the end of January. So we went from 2 beagles to 1 to none within 3 months. And we were a solid year, solid year without any dogs, without any pets. And then Mom finally decided that it was okay to get another dog, and she told my sister that the only thing is that she wanted was a smaller dog, because Charlie was a bigger beagle. Now, he was also overweight, but he was also just a bigger beagle. So Mom couldn't physically lift him. Like if she needed to get him to the vet or something, he was just too heavy. Sassy, so she tells my sister just the smaller dog. Now my sister happens to be going to Texas for a... Alexa, stop. My sister happens to be going to Texas for a work conference, and apparently while she's there, she just types into Google little beagles or something, and sure enough, there's a ranch within an hour or two drive from where she was staying that breeds smaller beagles. And so she got a rental car and headed out there, and she met Sassy. In fact, she met Sassy's family, but the next thing we know, a couple of days later, Diana comes back from the conference, and there's this cute little Sassy girl, just 6 months old, and just in time for my birthday. So that's how we ended up with Sassy. And Sassy, as my sister reminds me quite often, is mine. I'm her daddy. Technically, my sister was Charlie's mommy. And my mother was Rebel's mommy, but I was the uncle, or I guess the brother. And but Sassy's mine. So Diana, my sister, is the aunt, And of course, my mother is her grandmother. So that is the story of how we got Sassy. Let's see. You should make an album of songs. Me and the dog, or just me? Because I kind of did an album of songs, just me, for the Merry Christmas. I cut out just the songs from the Christmas stream, and I put an index as the pinned comment. You could go to literally any song. I think there was like 12 or 15 songs I sang that night. They're all easy to get to. That's how Anti-Tracker was able to get it so easily for his stream last night. My cat, this is Thomas, says, my cat gets close to kissing me but then backs off. Our cat was not very affectionate, except when she wanted to be petted. In fact, we used to joke around with people. We used to say, oh, pet her belly. She loves belly rubs. But she hated belly rubs. If you even got your hand close to her belly, she'd attack you, she'd scratch you, she'd bite you. It scared people. It was like, oh my God. Our cat was far, far more vicious than our dog. That's just the way it was. Darth Raven says, can cats find shelter to pass away? My neighbor's cat passed away and she was found in their shed. Yeah, I guess that's maybe what they do. No, BBB says Charlie Dog with the hearts. Yes, we all miss Charlie Dog. And they overfed your fish. Yeah, well, that's true. I did have fish. I forgot about the fish. Fish aren't like dogs or cats or birds even. You can't touch them. You can't play with them. I mean, fish might as well be simulated for all the good they are. That's why I have better fish than Anti-Tracker. Mine don't never need to be cleaned. Darth says, okay, Luke says, when I still had my cat, I had an aquarium with African fish with teeth. There was a bet in the family who would win if the cat fell into the aquarium, the cat or the fish. I bet the cat still would have won. Even the fish with teeth, as scary as they look, they don't do the damage that a cat's paw or the cat's teeth could do. I mean, unless you're talking, I doubt you're talking like shark, like 3 or 4 foot sized fish. If you're talking, 6-inch long fish, even 8-inch long, I say the cat wins every time. Aw, man, hugs to you, but you don't have to talk about the sad stories. We can see you're upset. Well, I'm just trying to give the full story, Darth. This way I don't have to give it again. If you want to take a minute for yourself and gather yourself, it's okay, man. I'm okay, Darth. My voice just sounds sadder than it really is. Don't get me wrong, I do get sad thinking about the animals that have passed, but we kind of went through this last night. I know you weren't still here, but my voice has been very often compared to Eeyore, even when I'm talking normally. So it's not that I'm constantly sad. It's just my voice. Thomas Potts says, I tell my cat my mother is his grandmother, and my mother yells at me for it. I don't know. She's not accepting of her grandchild, her furry grandchild. I'm assuming the cat has fur. If it's one of those furless cats, I wouldn't accept it either. Unless it was Mr. Bigglesworth, because that happened after an accident. That wasn't his fault. Who let the targs out? Woo, 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 yes. Who let the targs out? Oh, Sassy's no targ. Don't underestimate the power of a hungry swarm of African fish. I had African cichlids myself, and a pike even. They're no joke, but they'd have to be pretty big to take on a cat. Alex, hello Alex, Qapla, Happy New Year. Your channel continues to grow, I know, and congrats again on the 100 subs. And I was watching your sword fight videos, best sword fights, pretty cool. And I'm not all that into sword fights, to be completely honest, but I prefer batleths. But you know what? I watched. Not all of them, but some of them. Sassy is a small beagle, so she is a smeagol. Well, you know what? She's not so small these days. Yeah, it's okay, Sassy. I'm talking about you, baby. Let's see. Here. Anyway, that's my lovely kitchen in the background. I'm going to shut the picture for a minute, but keep talking so my mom can go in the kitchen and get a few things. She doesn't want to be on camera. I will keep going through the comments. Luke says, Alex, hey man, it's Team Europe. Okay, yes, that's true. You guys are both Team Europe. Luke says, time to hurt your brain with the same questions I asked Anti-Tracker. Oh boy. Do you agree that diversity of thought is so underrepresented in mainstream sci-fi? And why do you think that is? I'd say it's underrepresented. I don't know that it's majorly underrepresented right now, because the current mainstream sci-fi, I can only think of 4. Star Trek Discovery, which is I'll rate as awful left leaning. The Orville, which I'd rate as excellent left leaning. The Expanse, which I'd rate as excellent moderate, possibly even somewhat right leaning. And Doctor Who, which I just don't watch, but everything I hear is bad. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's terrible, but why? Well, it's because the entire industry of Hollywood and writers and artists in general tend to be of, one particular political party. They tend to have a specific ideology, and whether they are truly believe it in their heart or they just toe the line so that they get to get their parts because they know it's good for their job. Either way, it's good for them to agree, to at least appear to agree on the same things. And it's not surprising because there's certainly less diversity of thought in Hollywood as a whole than there is, say, in, I don't know, accounting, right? Or medicine. It's just, you've got people on all sides in those fields, probably more equal to the society as a whole, where Hollywood, it tends to be more one way than the other. So it's just, I don't think there's any real way to fix it because, frankly, people who have more conservative views just don't go into Hollywood things. Yes, there are plenty there, but not enough to alter the industry. So Thomas Potts says he okay, wait, let me so yes, just to answer your question, Luke, I do think it's underrepresented in mainstream sci-fi, but I am not surprised. And I don't know that there's any great way to fix it. The best way to fix it is to watch what you like and to give money to what you like. Seth MacFarlane and I probably could not disagree more on politics, but I love his shows. I love The Orville. I enjoy Family Guy. I won't say I love it. It's good. It's no Simpsons, but it's good. But he does quality stuff. His movies, The Orville, again, top stuff. So you don't have to agree with someone to recognize they do excellent work. And even though I have, like I said, because I read his Twitter, I'm a follower of his on Twitter. Every issue he says comes out with, I'm almost always on the opposite side. But I don't care because he does good work, and whether he thinks it is or it isn't, yes, some of it gets carried over into his work, but not enough that it's insulting to me. Not enough that it bothers me. Not enough that it insults me. He's not trying to jam it down my throat. He's just trying to open my eyes, and that's fine. I'm all for somebody trying to open my eyes and give me the choice of whether I agree with you or not, and don't without calling me an idiot if I don't. And that's The Orville. Right? You could have been on either side of whether Bortus's baby should have been granted the sex change operation. Sure, all the people in the union were all enlightened, so to say, and all thought it was a barbaric process, but the people on the other side weren't made out to be idiots. They were just different culture, and that's fine with me. I enjoy that. Star Trek Discovery, on the other hand, could not be more different. So yeah. Thomas sent a picture of his cat on Discord. It's a little difficult for me to get to Discord right now, Thomas. I don't think I have it open. Oh, I do. Hold on. Okay, Thomas. I got the picture of your cat. It's very cute. I'm assuming it's okay. I can put the picture of your cat up. And it looks like Alex also sent a picture of his cat. I'm assuming I could put the picture of the cat up, so I'm going to do that. That's a story for another time. This is Thomas's cat. Very cute. Very cute. And we will get Alex's cat in a second. And this is Alex's cat. Aw. Look at that face. Kind of looks like normal. Big normal, but normal. Very nice, guys. No cats here, knock wood. So, Darth Raven says, "Can your mom make me a sandwich?" She could make one, but you have no way of getting it. I assume you would not eat something that we sent through the mail, slowest post. And let's face it, you probably shouldn't eat it. If you were a little closer, Darth, I don't know, I'm sure we could ask her to make you a sandwich. Alex says to Luke, and thanks Bird of Prey 5, my mom overfeeds her cat, Poppet, so it's like like a watermelon on legs at the moment. Okay, so was that was your mom's cat? And my sister says, Mom makes excellent grilled cheese. She does. She does make one excellent grilled cheese. Darth Raven says to Luke, they are run by liberals and have won. Okay. Politics. I don't mind the politics, guys. I don't mind you guys talking about it, but this is a stream about sassy dogs, so I'm gonna try to bit as little of those words in as possible. Luke says, Bird of Prey 5, I'll give you an example. In sci-fi, futuristic humanity is often represented as a united species with one overall mindset. Diversity of thought is rather opposite to that. Well, realistically, Luke, I cannot imagine a future Earth where we have made contact with alien civilizations, whether it's Orville or Star Trek or, The Expanse, that was the very beginning of alien contact, so it doesn't count, but, any advanced future where alien species are constantly around and there are threats to the entire planet, that by that point in time, we will be a united species. I'm not going to say country borders are going to disappear overnight. You're still going to have French people. You're still going to have ethnic, people with German heritage and French heritage, assuming you guys, well, you know. There's going to be people, Americans, there's going to be Canadians, there's going to be Mexicans, there's going to be people who've lived in those places, and they're going to have ties to that culture. But as a political body, yeah, I think we will be united. I think that's just the reality of the situation. But I don't think that comes until and unless an alien threat actually shows up, which I think it's only a matter of time, to be completely honest, before it does. Either they're going to get to us first or we're going to get to them first. But either way, one of us is going to discover the other, and likely others beyond that. And I think really quickly here we're going to stop worrying about whose God says to pray in what direction, and we're going to worry more about we need to protect this planet. We need to protect humans. We're not going to look at. We're not going to worry about their races. We're not going to worry about their religions. We're going to worry the fact that they're humans, and humans need to carry on. Sassy has jumped down because she heard a dog barking in the distance. So, but yeah, that's my thought, Luke. I think the planet's going to get united given enough time in the future. So I don't consider that necessarily the end of diversity of thought. But it will probably end politics as we know it, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because I don't know by you. Well, I do kind of know by you. I mean, people are protesting there every weekend. Politics as we know it is not working. So Darth says, then Letons, a conservative centrist, show their opinion and maybe sway fans over to their side. Luke says, showing hundreds, if not thousands, of human factions with their own cultures and mindsets. Well, I mean, that's kind of the world we have today, right? I mean, that's exactly the world we have today. So I think we can, there's going to be inevitable blending and mixture and dilution of certain cultures. That's just natural. That's going to happen regardless. That's just going to happen with the progress of time. But it doesn't mean that they're going to be gone. I think there will still be enough left at the time that we decide to unite as a planet. That we're just not going to be all one color, all speaking one language, and all, atheists or practicing one religion or something. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think anybody really, maybe some people are waiting for that to happen, but I don't think that will ever happen. Nor does it need to, nor should it. Darth says, Luke, they will show those kutches with one mind track? Cultures with one mind track? Luke says to my sister, I agree, Scientology isn't helping. Oh, my sister said Scientologists. It was lovely to see you, sassy girl. Aunt Diana is leaving now. Yeah, I figured Aunt Diana does not like talking politics. I don't blame her, and Sassy has already left, so that's fine. Alex says, I may make a video tomorrow and attempt to give some alternative to the current disappointing Doctor Who. Okay, that sounds good. I think you've got plenty of people who will be interested in that. Darth Raven says to my sister, Happy New Year and have a great year. She says, you too. Thomas Potts says they weren't happy because the baby didn't choose. On Orville? Yeah. Alex says, would be great. I assume it meant putting the cat on the screen, which I did. So, good thing. Meow. Darth says, my dog has jammies. Show the pic I sent yesterday. Maybe at the end, Darth. It takes a minute for me to get all the way over to Discord and back again. I'm doing this all with one screen. Thomas says, Alex's cat looks like, why are you taking my picture? I think all cats look like that. In fact, many dogs. In fact, there's one guy I know who somehow has the absolute most photogenic animals you've ever seen. And I wish I could remember his name. I'd give you his Instagram or something. But he has dogs, he has horses, he has chickens, he has all kinds of animals perfectly posing for pictures. Half of them dressed up with hats on and glasses. He has dogs driving tractors and driving cars, and he did one video of a Thanksgiving dinner, and it was literally him and like 8 different animals all eating Thanksgiving dinner at the table at the same time. I mean, like the chicken was on the table, the horse has its head over the table like it was eating from a trough. The dog was sitting on the chair and eating off the table. It was crazy. I don't know how he could possibly do it. I mean, we have all to do to get Sassy to look at the camera and take one picture. But man, he's amazing. If I can remember his name, I'll post it. I'll probably just do a video on it one day. I'll put it in a future video. What's a cat so fat you can't see its legs? Hovercraft. I will eat it, die, and haunt you. You're gonna eat the sandwich that we're gonna mail to you, Darth? He's in Ireland. I was talking to him about the writers when it comes to sci-fi. Yikes, more pets. What's Sassy's favorite people food? Thomas, that would be whatever food is in front of the person she is next to. Certainly steak, beef, chicken. Loves chicken. Loves chicken. Loves eggs. Loves eggs, loves chicken, loves steak, loves beef. She loves bread. She eats a lot of different foods if you let her. We have to really watch what we give her. Do you watch Travelers? It was a very good time travel show. They take over the body of people seconds about to die. and continue on in their bodies and consciousness until overridden by a new person. I did see the first season of Travelers, Darth, and I think there's a second, possibly even a third season on Netflix. I have to go back and watch it. I think I saw season 1. It's possible I saw season 2. I don't know if I'm 1 or 2 seasons behind. I just don't have time anymore to watch these shows. I mean, there's Travelers. There's Counterpart is back on. I haven't even finished the most recent season of Men in the High Castle. I think we're 1 episode away from finishing. So yeah, there's some great stuff out there. I just got to find the time. Look at modern Earth. We already managed to make combined efforts and globalized economy. What's needed to defend Earth from alien scum outside a uniformed command during war? Well, I think defending it is one thing, but I think, like Ronald Reagan said in his speech to the UN, if we actually were confronted with an alien enemy, like literally an enemy not of this world, almost immediately we would look at each other differently. It'd be a fundamental change to our existence, like nothing that's ever happened before. And the last remnants of racism and things like that would I'm not going to say disappear overnight, but for all practical purposes, they would disappear quickly. And the world would just be united like never before. Derek, hello Derek. Qapla, welcome. I don't know if you missed my dog. She was up on the bed with me for a while. That's why we've got this strange angle here going on today. Don't forget Mrs. Anti-Tracker birthday Wednesday. Yes, tomorrow is Mrs. Anti-Tracker's birthday. January 2nd, arguably the worst birthday of the year. Darth says, what's JoJo's favorite food? Both Italian and non-Italian. Okay. Well, non-Italian, it really depends. There's so much. There is so much. I like a lot of food, Darth. I like a lot of food. A juicy, tender, medium rare steak. Very, very hard to beat in terms of just deliciousness. That said, there are times I just craving a bacon cheeseburger. That's deliciousness. I love these corn nuggets, corn fritters. They're fried like balls of dough with corn kernels in them. They're delicious. Red Lobster biscuits. If you've ever had a Red Lobster biscuit, when they're warm, they're delicious. I mean, to say what's my favorite, I would say steak, but to be honest, any of those could be the most delicious thing I could think of. Italian food, until very, very recently, I'd say fried chicken cutlets. And you know what? I might still say fried chicken cutlets, but homemade, like my grandmother used to make them. or whoever used to make them. You made them too, Mom. But I was saying the ones we got at Mama's. The problem isn't the making it, is that the chicken isn't the same as it used to be. The actual meat has changed. Whether it's because they've just, all the antibiotics and fillers they put into the meat these days, or whatever. But I have memories of chicken cutlets of decades past that were the most delicious things I ever had. And even if we made them today and they look almost exactly the same, they rarely taste as good. Maybe it's just because I'm clouded with memories, or I honestly think it's just the food is different. That the chicken, the meat is different. Because people say the same thing about beef. The food just tastes different these days. It's not like it used to be. Anyway, Italian food, if not chicken cutlets, because I have cut back on eating chicken a lot. It's been causing me some anxiety. I would just go with a plain pasta. A pasta with butter, or butter and even a little ketchup. I know it's sacrilegious, but that's what I'd put. Darth says, sadly, I don't think UK monarchy will ever fall. Luke says to me, and that's the meat of the topic, why do the majority think humanity will eventually unite, both politically and socially? It's not what happened so far in the hundreds of thousands of years. Well, Luke, it's also because we've never had aliens come to us and say, take us to your leader before. But in the days after 9/11 here in New York City, racism other than against Muslims for a very short time felt like it disappeared. Whether you were white or black or Hispanic, people were all looking at each other like equals, like, you're okay, like, unfortunately, if you were Muslim looking, or wore a turban, even if you were not Muslim, you were a Sikh or something, you did not have a good time, because people attributed them to the terrorist attacks. But for everybody who wasn't them, they came together. So, if an alien came that 100% couldn't be confused with any other human, and if they, God forbid, attacked us, but even if they didn't attack us, even if they just showed up and said, yeah, we're here, literally overnight, you're going to start looking at other people and having a camaraderie with them that you never had before, because we never faced a common enemy before. Not one that literally is common to the entire planet. So that's why I think it'll happen. I think it's kind of inevitable. On the other hand, if 1,000 years go by and we never make alien contact, God knows what I hope against that, because It seems like we're getting more and more tribal as each day goes on, and I can't imagine that continuing for even another 100, yet let alone another 1,000 years. Um, so yeah. Guys, I gotta take a pill. I'll be right back. I'm gonna play your favorite animation, even though I'm not using the vacuum. But I'll be right back. Yeah, couple of good old boys, never meaning no harm. Just something, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law would allow. Turd is the word. Turd. I honestly, I'm not 100% sure how this song goes. That's the best I could get. I probably shouldn't have said that much. Yeah. Well, that was so good, guys. We're gonna do it one more time. I'm kidding. I'll end it as soon as I can. Couple of good old boys, never meaning no harm. Just something, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law would allow. Turd is the word. Turd. I honestly, I'm not 100% sure how this song goes. That's the best I could get. I probably shouldn't have said that much. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that, guys. We decided to go ahead and move this back so Mom could get into the kitchen without having to be on camera. Hope it didn't keep you waiting too long. let's try to polish off these comments and see where we are. Thomas Potts says, some united with him and some stayed neutral. The world united against Hitler. Well, no, not the whole world, right? Not the whole world. But, in fact, surprisingly, a lot of the world didn't. Europe might have, but Europe is not the world. Do you think the people in Vietnam or Bangladesh, if it even existed at the time, China, really gave a shit about Hitler? No, they cared about Japan. And for that, about South America. I mean, they were very welcoming to the Germans after World War II. As was the United States, to be completely honest. I mean, we took their scientists. We were happy to have them. So, no, the world didn't unite against Hitler. The free world, the Western world might have. Europe and the United States, Canada and Australia, yes, but not the entire world. Luke says, I think the hypothesis of humanity uniting in the discovery of alien life is unlikely. Neanderthals, first Europeans, Celts, Native Americans, Africans, neither united against invaders. Well, honestly, I don't know about Neanderthals. I would say even if they didn't, they probably lacked the mentality to do so. And as for the others, I mean, yes, but they were still humans. They were still humans coming in. Who's to say one human is better than another human? Just because, I mean, I guess you could argue who's to say one living being is better than another living being. But it's just my personal opinion. Now imagine the aliens we encounter are friendly or low-tech compared to us. Well, it'd be hard to encounter low-tech aliens compared to us for the foreseeable future because, I mean, we can't even get out of the solar system in any reasonable period of time. So, if the next 2, 3, 4, 500 years, barring some magical discovery that revolutionizes interplanetary travel, it is not likely we are going to discover alien life. The only real possibility is they discover us, or we can find a way to prove alien life exists on a distant world, but we can never make contact with them, at least not for millions or thousands of years. I believe if humans expand to habitable planets and make planets habitable planets, they will eventually split their own species as the generations go on politically and physically. Possible. Maybe new religions spring up, new languages, new appearances, maybe even new skin colors. Well, in the not too distant future, Darth, we will have the ability to genetically manipulate things like skin color. That will not be out of the realm of possibility. Do I think in 500 years we will have the technology to warp travel to the closest star? That mean like get to the closest star in a matter of days or even weeks? No, I don't. I don't. in 500 years, will we have the ability to create somebody with blue-colored skin? Yeah, I think we will. I think we'd be able to have the genetic ability to do that. That we could cross the whatever causes the blue pigment coloration in those blue potato chips with a human cell, human skin cell, and we could do that. There's no reason that we won't have that ability in 500 years. But space travel, long distance space travel, highly unlikely. Intuition for nutrition. Hello Joey. That is my cousin Heather. Some of you guys will remember her from the New Year's, the late Christmas stream, the family stream. She was the one over here. Heather, I am pretty behind on comments, about 10 minutes. I don't know if you're still here. I saw you just uploaded a video. I was going to check that out later. Where's Sassy? Sassy was up on the bed with me for, I don't know, about an hour. And she since got down because she heard some dogs passing. So she's gone. But if you restart the video at the end, you'll see Sassy up here in bed with me. That sounds dirty, but you know what I'm talking about. Luke says to Darth, there's one of those factors I imagine. There's no reason to think humanity would solidify any form of centralized government. And I got lost in the comments. Okay. Especially if separated across the stars. Well, no. If separated across the stars, maybe not. But I'm just saying, if humanity is confined to Earth, which I think it will be, when aliens first discover us, then yes, I think we will have a unified world government of some type. I just do. I think it's inevitable, to be completely honest. And I'm saying this as someone who very much is in favor of states' rights. I'm against centralized authority. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in favor of strong centralized government currently, but I do think it is inevitable. So it's not. I'm not endorsing it. I'm just saying I don't see any other way humanity survives going forward long term. So say 2040 or 2060, the Union of Planets. A little early, Darth. Then it falls apart when they realize they don't have to rely or listen to Earth. Thomas Potts, Vietnam was French controlled. Yeah, but the actual Vietnamese, do you think they gave a shit? The French might have forced them. Anti-Tracker. Hello, Anti-Tracker. Welcome to the stream. I'm running about 10 minutes behind. You might have come and gone. I did see your stream last night. Well, I saw your stream this morning. It was a very talented person you brought in to sing New York, New York. He should get a raise. The Turd Master is here. Oh boy. Anti-tracker, hey, Poopenheimer, how are you today? Oh boy. Luke says to me, so may the aliens, you never know. What if they are the first ones to invent FTL travel in the area, or anything can happen? It's possible. Anything can happen. I honestly believe right now there are aliens in this galaxy with faster than light travel. I think there has to be. I think mathematically it is certain. Will they come here? Will we know about them in our lifetimes? Unlikely. In the next 500 to 1,000 years? More likely. Before we invent faster than light travel? Almost assuredly. Well, we are ready to manipulate skin color. Look at Orange Man. Yes, skin color is of little concern. It isn't. I mean, it's getting of less and less concern as time goes on, which is absolutely good. And it will not be all that long in historical time before skin color really isn't a concern. I mean, already people are more drawing their lines on politics than skin color, than race. Anti-tracker, man, I would say you got absolutely hammered. Oh yes, Anti-tracker's trying to wake up after last night. Yes, it was an epically long stream, Anti-tracker. You made it to West Coast New Year's Eve countdown. I don't know how or why, but good for you. Thomas is now telling Anti-tracker about his power outage. Anti-tracker says, I just came in to say, just look at the beginning of the stream, and Sassy is in bed with me. Did I log into the wrong website? Sassy is my dog, Anti-tracker. My beagle. In fact, if you go back to the beginning of the stream, which you should be able to, you will see me and Sassy on camera. It's not often she's able to get up into the bed here with me, and that she's in any angle or position that the camera would work. It just so happened to work out today. So I figured might as well go live, since I know my sister had wanted to see her, and I figured everybody else could take a look. Thomas Potts says, did you ever see that Twilight Zone episode with the pitchman and death? I've seen just about every Twilight Zone episode. I do remember one where I believe there was a death character, but it's been so long I don't remember the details. If I've seen it, I can tell you it certainly wasn't one of my favorite episodes. I have a lot of favorite episodes of Twilight Zone, but I would say probably not that one. For whatever reason, it didn't make a big impression on me. Thomas Potts says you should have slept and played on your phone. Darth says you should have. To Thomas, you should have slept and played on your phone. And Thomas said he forgot to charge it. It was only at 30%. Oof. Anti-tracker, he should get a raise. Code for pay me or you will be at the bottom of the river. Listen, you're free to interpret it any way you want. Darth says to me, what if there are a first species to evolve? We are like the precursor to every other race, and the future species that evolve are our descendants. They forget where they came from on Earth. You mean like the, you mean like in Stargate? I suppose it's possible, but let's be honest, the math on that is very, very unlikely. Speaking of unlikely math, I completely forgot. I have a lottery ticket to check. I might have won $1,000 a day for life, or even $1,000 a week for life, or some other cash prize. I should check that. I keep forgetting. I could already be so rich that I'm quitting. Well, I don't really have a job to quit. I do some part-time stuff, but I could already have won the lottery and be hiring an army of nurses to cater to my every whim. Yeah, so it's certain that there are aliens. It's probable some of them reach complex life forms and would even reach sentience, maybe even intelligent life. Darth says to Luke, I'm starting to think we are the first to evolve. Darth, there's absolutely no reason to believe that. Darth says to Anti-Tracker, yes, this is poor hub. I get it. Luke says it's plausible that they managed to develop civilizations and technologies before getting wiped out by elements, ice age, asteroids, or other aliens. Luke says, but mathematically they would still be 100,000 or 10,000, I believe, and I forget the number. Yeah, I mean, it's not 1 or 10 or 100. I mean, there are probably thousands of sentient, intelligent species in this galaxy alive right now on various planets, in civilizations all the way back to the Stone Age and all the way forward, advanced thousands, even millions of years beyond us. So you are free to interpret it any way you want as code for shut up, or you will really end up at the bottom of the river. No, Anti-Tracker, that was just code for you do what you think is best for you and for your family. Darth says, Anti-Tracker, you'll be sleeping in the septic tank. Oh, that's awful, Darth. That is awful. Plus, who the hell wants to dig up a septic tank to make a hole? Sleeping with the fishes is just as effective. Luke says not in the galaxy. Well, in the universe. Oh, in the universe, I think there's probably 1,000 plus in this galaxy. But in the universe, I mean, there's millions and millions. Now, the trouble with that is, while I do think that we will one day be able to somehow figure out travel between star systems, whether it's through some type of wormhole system that we devise, or through some kind of hyperspace warp bubble technology, something completely yet undiscovered. I think that's highly, highly likely. As for the ability to travel to distant galaxies, though, I don't know that there will ever come a time that technology ever exists. And so, a super sentient species, literally, 100 galaxies away, or even further halfway across the universe. I don't think even in all time our civilizations will ever cross, and likely never even become aware of each other. Because the scale, the epic jump in magnitude of the distances that go from solar system to solar system to galaxy is beyond real belief. Very, very few people can honestly claim to fathom that difference in distance. I would love to be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be wrong. But as the engineer in me, I'm saying travel within this galaxy seems far-fetched but possible. Travel between distant galaxies, by all rights, is just simply impossible. Anti-tracker. Do what you think is best for you and your family. Of course, being code for I told you to shut up. Think about your family, which of course is code for I, bird of prey, am head of the mafia. That is words you put in my mouth. I did not say any of that. Dart says, anti-tracker, did you hear? Pro-tracker, no thanks, that's Bird made him disappear. Oh, yes, Pro-tracker. Pro-tracker is no longer here. I had to make him disappear. 1,000 plus, maybe, but how many of them are space prawns living in hot spots in deep seas? How many are microbes? Well, that's what I'm saying. I think there's 1,000 sentient civilizations that are somewhere between the Stone Age and Dyson sphere builders. I think there's tens of thousands, millions perhaps, of planets and moons with microbes living in hot springs or in crater surfaces. But that's me. That's my belief. Do I have any way of proving it? No. It's just, it's almost like faith. It's almost like religion. It's just something I innately believe, and I can't prove it to you. Darth is still trying to peddle the fake news that my name is Mojo Jojo. Yeah, Pro-tracker, may he rest in peace. Anti-tracker, I noticed, and I'm sure your audience thanks you, but I did watch your live stream from last night through this morning. Well, I listened to it mostly while I was in the background, or while I was doing other stuff. But I noticed you did promise them a West Coast song from me that you then didn't play. And to be honest, by the time the time came, you just looked so asleep that I assume you were just too tired to bother playing it. And I'm sure everyone is thankful you didn't play it. But just curious if that was just forgot, that nobody left really cared, or you just couldn't take the punishment anymore, which is all understandable reasons. The question of extraterrestrial life is really based on the magnitude of the universe. Points to one or two possibilities. Luke says, Bird of Prey, problem is we've never seen these spheres or the giant space stations with death rays. We didn't even detect any signal or traces of industry of exoplanet atmosphere so far. Well, Luke, we have detected signals. The problem is we've never been able to redetect signals in the same place. SETI program has detected signals on more than one occasion, but unless you can constantly detect a signal at that place over and over again, they just write it off. Sure, if it's a planet there, you would think you could detect the signal over and over again. But if it was just a ship that was moving through the galaxy, and it was just a 1 in a million chance we happened to be lined up at it at the time we intercepted the signal, and then it's moved, 10,000 parsecs or whatever, in a few minutes, and now we can't get a signal lock a second time. That's possible. It's not saying that there's been no signals. There have been signals. They just haven't been signals we can repeat. And there has been that that star that they believe could be, that they came out and they said that it very well could be some type of Dyson sphere circling a star, not a complete one, but there was very little. They had a hard time coming up with a reason for why else the magnitude of the star brightness would change so frequently, and seemingly in binary, almost like it was square passing instead of circles. And eventually they came up with some excuse that didn't involve aliens, and since they could explain it without alien involvement, they just assume that that's the right answer. But it's still very possible that we did detect some type of Dyson sphere orbiting a distant star. We don't know. I mean, we don't even know what I can't pronounce the word. Muamua was. Mamua. That asteroid, that weird looking asteroid that came through the solar system. We didn't even see it till it was past the sun, and it was speeding away. It was speeding up. And we don't know what these things look like. I mean, our telescopes, they're just smudges. Sure, we get pictures from NASA that make them look like asteroids and make them look like all these things, but they're NASA's pictures are almost always artist renditions or artist enhanced. They never really the raw data that the cameras are actually picking up. They put a lot of time and effort into making them look nice. Like even that famous image of the Hubble, all those galaxies the Hubble recorded. I mean, that picture, the galaxies are all in color. Some are red, some are blue, some are white, some are green. The real picture of the Hubble, it was infrared, so it was basically a black and white photo. They had artists colorize it to make it more interesting, but there's no basis in reality for those colors. But up until 2 months ago, had you asked me, is that the actual photo that Hubble took, I would have said yes, because I honestly thought it was. It was only very recently that I found out, shit, no. Almost every photo I thought NASA released that I thought were real photos were doctored. They were doctored to add color. They were doctored to add textures. And, it makes us think we know more than we do. The fact is we don't know nearly as much as we think we do. And that's just a fact. Okay, I missed some comments. Darth says to Luke, space Mormons and Scientologists. Anti-Tracker says the question of extraterrestrial life is really based on the magnitude of the universe, points to one of two possible. Oh, I already read that. And here are Anti-Tracker's two possibilities. One, we are alone in the universe and a divine being created us for some specific purpose. Well, without sounding callous, I will automatically discount number one, because that's ridiculous. Not the fact that a divine being created us, but even I could accept the fact of divine being, but if there was a divine being, he obviously created life elsewhere. Two, there are millions upon millions of other civilizations. Exactly, and it is clearly number two on the universe level. On the galaxy level, I'd say probably closer to thousands, but yes. Luke says, any spacefaring civilization is currently out of reach, even for them. Well, we don't know that. We don't know what their technology is. Thomas says he broke his promise. Unsub. Who? I broke my promise? Darth says, Anti-Tracker, do you think God would just stop at one species? Doubt it. Darth, exactly. I mean, even a human, if you build one thing, you don't stop. You keep building. And if we're made in God's image, I would imagine that that tendency is part of God. All creators, it's universal. You don't stop after you create one thing. You create one thing and then you want to create another and another and another. And you just keep doing it until you run out of material. and probably think God doesn't run out of material. So, anti-tracker, do you think God would stop at 1? Darth says, I did just forget. I will play tonight. Okay, I missed that part. Oh, I'm sorry. Anti-tracker said that. I did just forget. I will play it tonight. Oh, you don't have to play it on my account. You will probably lose subs if you do play it. I was just curious. Anti-tracker says to Darth, I'm not suggesting that God would only create one species. However, he would be the only logical explanation for life being unique to our planet. Anti-tracker, tonight's stream you should show up wrapped in a blanket and a pillow beside you and a coffee bag. Coffee bags dotted around you. Darth says the anti-tracker, there's so many reasons. Lots could be right. Luke says to me, no, it wasn't my way to close the possibility of a Dyson sphere, but the media ran with the story anyway. Scientists confirmed it wasn't that. They confirmed it because they had a different theory that didn't rely on alien life. They don't know. I mean, Luke, they don't know. They can't see it. It could be a Dyson sphere. It could be not a Dyson sphere like we saw in Star Trek The Next Generation, but one under construction or a partial one, not grabbing 100% of the star's light. An actual fully complete Dyson sphere would be almost impossible to pick up because there'd be no light coming from it. So there could be hundreds of Dyson spheres in the galaxy, and we'd never know until we were like almost up on top of one. Our telescopes couldn't find a Dyson sphere now. They could find one under construction, perhaps. But, to make an extraordinary claim like that, you need extraordinary evidence, and they don't have that. So they will just say, oh, it's probably not aliens. They can't say for sure it's not aliens. Anti-tracker, the problem with the scientific community, Bird. Scientists have a tendency to dismiss explanations. They are prejudiced against aliens, God, etc. because of their personal beliefs. Yes, very, very true. Like there are still people who are telling me that big apples didn't fall on Native Americans before the Dutch came, because they're prejudiced against the truth. But I know it, and I told you all, and you just gotta fight the man. You gotta fight the power. Darth says to me, if a hunter-gatherer race looks up, they see an airplane, what they think is a monster, if not a god. Yes, very ancient alien. Luke says, we are not sure because it's too dark. We are sure it was neither a spaceship nor a space probe, however. No, we are not sure, Luke. We are not sure. Harvard scientists came out and said it very well could have been a space probe. Now, yes, scientists will disagree, but there's no, you could say it's a consensus, because scientists love to claim there's a consensus when there's not a consensus. It kind of shuts up the other scientists. because to go against the consensus really puts your academic creds in jeopardy. But no, we don't know what it was. We don't know it wasn't a spaceship, and we don't know it wasn't a probe, because we have no idea what an alien spaceship or an alien probe would look like. We have no idea how it would behave. We have no idea the technology that would be propelling it. They theorized about solar sails, but do I honestly think a civilization would be using solar sails to travel between stars? No. I mean, that was an interesting plot in the DS9 episode where the ancient Bajorans got to Cardassia somehow, getting into orbit without modern technology. But in real life, no, solar sails aren't going to be used to send people across or even probes across the galaxy. Should have nothing to do with science, but it's not the case. Commander Ironwolf, hey guys, what are we talking about? We are talking about alien life, apparently, and what's the chances of it being, of it existing. But we are getting close to the end of the stream. Commander Ironwolf says, most definitely aliens exist on other planets. The question is, how advanced are they? And Anti-Tracker, most scientists I talk to, especially astrophysicists, or hear people talk about pretty open to the idea of aliens existing. They just don't attribute phenomena to the supernatural. Darth says, to me, that rumble in the sky could be a dragon roaring. It could be a battle between aliens or simple thunder. Anti-Tracker misses, have a good new year on your own time. Luke, to me, what also makes them thinking is it's probably not a Dyson sphere, is the concept doesn't work. The amount of material needed to build is so big, the utter madness to think of it. Well, the material in our current material science would be so big, Luke. But what if they had nanotechnology? What if they could literally had machines that could literally pick up interstellar dust and convert it to matter needed to make the solar panels or whatever? We don't know. It's possible. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying it's possible. Commander Ironwolf, scientists are just like you and me. They're smart, yes. They are dumb. And they have just as based non-scientists. Yes, science is not scientists. However, without exception, when a scientist says we know that, that's the problem. Luke says if it's a space probe, it's the dumbest with the worst effectiveness ever. Well, again, we don't know what its mission was. We don't know anything about it. Agree, it probably wasn't a space probe, but again, we just don't know. Darth Raven says, me and Mrs. Anti-Tracker went to lunch today for her birthday, since he has to work tomorrow. Anti-Tracker, Luke says to Anti-Tracker, point is science with a tiny bit of integrity, never say that. And then he asks if the food was great. Anti-Tracker says, not bad. Anti-Tracker, Darth says, tell her happy birthday for me tomorrow. Will do. Hopefully Mrs. Anti-Tracker has a good host tonight. Hopefully the Mrs. Anti-Tracker show has a good host tonight. Anti-Tracker says the problem to Luke is that you are anthropomorphizing the aliens. What if they are 100 miles tall? What if they pull resources from places we never considered? Impossible, all possible. What if they're 1, nanometer tall? Maybe they were already here. Luke says to me, it's not a matter of tech, it's a matter of the available, a matter of your star system. The amount required to surround your star is so big, you cut out planets from the start. Yeah, I get it, but you could have a material so thin, one molecule thin, if it's arranged in the right molecular order, that it's so strong that you only need it to be one atom thick, or one molecule thick. So you could turn a single planet, would have more than enough matter that it could be resequenced to be a one molecule thick sphere around a star. I mean, it wouldn't be made out of copper or modern solar panels. No, that would never work. But again, if they've had a 10,000 year or a million years advanced on our civilization, they could literally have and probably have materials that are magic to us, just magic. Luke says the anti-tracker Dyson sphere is the very epitome of anthropomorphic thinking. It's so human. I can guarantee you will never find it anywhere. You can take that guarantee to the bank. Darth, what if the aliens are aquatic mostly, and we are rare surface dwelling race? That's possible. What if the aliens are cats and they have to wear special collars so that they can move things by telekinesis? Bird of prey, if you have the capacity to build such kind of material, you wouldn't need to build that Dyson sphere anymore, rendering it doubly ridiculous. Luke, I don't know how you can come to that conclusion. It's possible, but I don't know. You're making a lot of assumptions that I would hesitate to make. But you know what? This is a debate that we could never possibly settle. You have your opinions, I have mine. You have no way to prove it to me. I have no way to prove it to you. It's just what we believe. So we should leave it at that. I agree to disagree. I'm always interested in hearing more about it, but it's not going to be settled. It's not going to be settled tonight. That said, I do need to get going. Thank you guys so much for coming. Darth, Anti-Tracker, Thomas, Luke, whoever else is still here. It says there's 7 people. I'm not sure who else, but if I didn't call you out, thank you for being here. If you are watching this and you have, for some reason, not already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Please like the video if you like it. If you dislike the video, hit dislike, but please, please, please leave me a comment and tell me why. What can I do better? I'd love to hear from you. And thank you guys again. We're gonna call it a night here. Hey, it was a fun discussion about what we think about the question. Yes, it was. The point is not to settle everything. It's correct. The only thing we've settled in the last 100 years is that the French surrender much too quickly. I'm kidding, Luke. I'm kidding. France is America's oldest ally. I will never forget. Never forget. Qapla.